reborn the day before the apocalyptic flood. I hadn't stockpiled food, built a shelter, or blown my life savings on an aircraft carrier, because I didn't have any money to begin with. But luckily, I had a god-tier fishing rod that never came up empty. As long as I cast it, I could upgrade it endlessly and summon anything I needed. Looking back to yesterday, or maybe the day before, the flood had already submerged the 15-story building I lived in. I dismantled every usable resource in my home, and built a makeshift wooden raft and set out to sea. Just then, my girlfriend Shu Xian sent me a message. Afin, I'm so scared. My house is about to be flooded. Come pick me up quickly. A cold smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Without a moment's hesitation, I typed back, don't be afraid. Xin. You must barricade the door. Don't act on your own. I'll be there to save you as soon as possible. After saying that, I turned off the satellite network, slipped my phone into a waterproof bag, and stuffed it into my backpack. Save you my ass. In a past life, it was this woman and my best friend Shinzei, a rookie, who fed me to the gluttonous sawtooth killer. I took a deep breath. I checked the meager supplies in my backpack. It was time to cast a line. With a heart full of excitement, I immediately cast my fishing rod. But after nearly an hour of fishing, there wasn't a single ripple in the water. Just as I was about to lift the rod and reel in the line, the tip of the rod was suddenly yanked down by a pulled down from a distance. I tensed my muscles instantly and frantically cranked the reel to reel in the line. The force from the water was immense, nearly dragging me in. Gritting my teeth, I used the momentum to yank the rod upward. The next second, a red shadow burst from the water surface. Fishing success. Congratulations on obtaining a pack of spicy strips. You've gained 1 point of proficiency. My eye twitched. This felt a bit unreal. It truly proved that old saying in the fishing world, an old hand at fishing can catch anything but fish. And since that single cast had already cost me 10 stamina points, I could only fish a maximum of 10 times a day. At this rate, it would take at least 12 days to level up. I knew full well I didn't have time to level up, because in 7 days, the marine life would undergo its first mutation. By then, they would be highly aggressive and possess a certain level of intelligence. With that thought, I hurriedly took a moment to catch my breath. In the distance, a faint, flickering golden glow. Could it be a golden legend? I immediately jerked the rod upward with all my strength. The reel spun wildly, even spitting out sparks hot enough to burn my hands. I clenched my teeth so hard they cracked, then fell backward, using my full body weight to pin down the rod, which had bent into a semicircle. But no matter how hard I strained, the reel wouldn't budge an inch. Just then, the rod began to shake violently. Water kept seeping in around the edges of the raft. After a stalemate that left my body on the verge of breaking, a sudden flash of inspiration struck me. Since I couldn't outstruggle him, why not wear him out instead? Without a moment's hesitation, I mustered every ounce of strength to wedge the rod into a crack in the raft. At the same time, I stood up and gripped the tip of the rod like a rudder, steering straight toward the pier, the very place where I'd found the life-saving fishing boat. Sure enough, the sudden pull set the raft drifting, and I stood atop it, paddling frantically like a surfer. This scene left the survivors huddled on the top floor, utterly dumbfounded, but I had no time to spare for them. To keep from capsizing, I was being dragged by whatever lay beneath the water, circling the wide expanse around the pier dozens of times. As the underwater creature gradually grew exhausted, I seized the moment and tightened the fishing line. The next second, a burst of golden light erupted on the water's surface. A dark purple ring shimmering with iridescent hues clattered onto the raft. Fishing success. Obtained the hidden item, the spatial ring. Rarity, supernatural. The ring's storage capacity evolves with the host's mental strength. Currently, it can only store system-generated items and fishing supplies. It's actually a golden legend. I collapsed onto the raft, panting heavily, with a thought. I instantly stored the god-tier fishing rod and the spicy strips into the small space, which was at least 5 cubic meters in size. Tears welled up in my eyes as I closed them and began to drift. At the same time, in the upscale Fangjianjuan residential complex, Shu Xian was fidgeting restlessly with her phone, still waiting for a message from me asking for help. Just then, Jinzei walked out and wrapped his arms around her. Don't worry. He loves you so much. He'd come even if it meant dying. Shu Xian furrowed her brow slightly, sensing something was off. Lu Fan must be rowing like a dog right now. Once he gets here, I'll kick him off the boat and go find my uncle's yacht to rescue you all. Second aunt and second uncle, who were cuddling their teddy bear on the sofa, overheard the conversation and hurried over. Oh my, Xiaozhe Yuri, so sensible. Having you in our lives is a true blessing for the Chu family. So much better than that good-for-nothing Lu Fan. Listening to their insincere flattery, Chenzei smiled and nodded in agreement, though a cold gleam flashed in his eyes. Instantly, his hands reached out toward Shu Xian. Seeing this, second uncle and second aunt awkwardly turned away, pretending to play with the dog. afraid to disturb them in the slightest. Meanwhile, on the other side, I took a 1-hour break before resuming my fishing. It would be dark in 4 or 5 hours, and the ocean at night would become bitterly cold. The first cast yielded a pack of cigarettes, the second, a kitchen cleaver. It wasn't until the fourth cast that I noticed the float emitting a faint green glow. My pupils contracted. I loosened the drag on the reel, while jiggling the rod from side to side, to mimic the rhythm of a fish swimming. Holding my breath, I reeled in my arms in a frantic spin. Instantly, a square, brown silhouette broke the surface. I'd caught my fish. I'd obtained the hidden item, a basic workbench, of fine quality, used for crafting blueprints. It can be used once per day. The basic disassembly function requires binding to a vehicle, and the blueprint function is limited to crafting items of fine quality. The disassembly function refreshes daily at 12 p.m. Standing barefoot on this rickety wooden raft that could fall apart at any moment, I didn't hesitate for a second. I knelt on one knee in the center of the wooden raft, pressing the workbench firmly with both hands against the thickest joint of the hull. The moment it was bound, the workbench suddenly erupted with a pale golden light that instantly engulfed the entire raft. Every plank and knot seemed to be locked together by some force into an indestructible whole. The workbench also had a handy disassembly function. I quickly rummaged through my supply pack. I pulled out 4 heat patches. Since I could disassemble them, I'd see if I could turn trash into treasure. I stuffed the heat patches into the workbench's slot. As a ball of light flared up and faded, a palm-sized, pitch-black lump appeared in the slot. Disassembly complete. I obtained a low-purity iron carbon compound. It releases 65 degrees Celsius of heat upon contact with air, doesn't dissolve in water, and lasts for about 12 hours. It's a basic material for making thermal gear, and can also be used for emergency. This is so awesome. This is so awesome. My eyes lit up. It's practically a portable little stove. I'll need this to stay alive tonight. But just as I stowed it in my spatial ring, dark clouds suddenly loomed overhead. My face turned ashen. In my previous life, it had been sunny for 5 whole days after the rain stopped. Who's the one who didn't sing the song about the little yellow flower? The premonition of another downpour instantly filled me with dread. If it happens, I'll rapidly lose body heat, and I'd likely freeze to death tonight. The very next second, a thunderclap ripped through the air. A torrential downpour, accompanied by massive waves, instantly engulfed me. My entire body was flung into the air and slammed violently into the bone-chilling seawater. A suffocating coldness spread throughout my body. Ignoring the excruciating pain in my lungs, I swam frantically toward the surface. When I finally grabbed the edge of the wooden raft, I mustered my last ounce of strength to climb aboard. I began to brace myself for the next wave's onslaught. I don't know how long it took, but eventually the downpour turned into a sharp drizzle. However, the rapid drop in temperature had already begun to cloud my consciousness. Shivering, I reached into my spatial ring to retrieve the piece of iron charcoal, hoping to save my life. But suddenly, a blinding beam of searchlight illuminated my vision, followed by the deep rumble of an engine. With great effort, lifted my head. As I looked, the dilapidated little fishing boat from my memories was now cutting through the clouds, slowly heading toward me. The boat came to a stop behind the log raft. A stocky middle-aged man hoisted me onto his back and carried me onto the boat. His colleague shouted, "We'll haul this little log raft up later. Chop it up for firewood." Moments later, I found myself in a warm, dry cabin. Just then, a girl with bronze-colored skin muttered, "Dad, it's so dangerous out there and it's raining. Why did you have to save him?" The man smiled and gently set me down on the floor, then deftly helped me strip off my soaked jacket. Jean Salmon grumbled under her breath, but still picked up a small, not very warm stove and tossed it in front of me. "You little brat, my dad was kind enough to save you. I'm warning you, don't get any funny ideas, or I'll kick you in the water to feed the fish." I struggled to lift my eyelids and shot him a glare. "She's a beauty, but with a body like that she's probably trained in martial arts. I can't mess with her, no way." After the two of them left, I had an idea. I took out the piece of iron charcoal from my spatial ring and lit it to keep warm. As soon as I regained my senses, I pricked up my ears, because strange thumping sounds were coming from outside the door. I looked out and saw that under the awning on the deck, a 200-pound blonde-haired guy was swinging a fire axe, furiously hacking away at the wooden raft I'd been helping with. "Is this damn thing made of iron? I've been chopping at it for ages and can't make a dent." He gave up, tossed the axe aside, plopped down on the deck, and slumped his shoulders. Chin Yang, the burly blonde-haired guy next to him, saw he wasn't working and kicked him right in the shins. "You're such an idiot and can't even chop through a lousy wooden raft." Just then, Zhang Weiguo's voice rang out, "You too, why? Are you looking so glum?" The two men gave a wry smile and stopped chopping. "Uncle Zhang, this thing is incredibly hard. The axe won't budge it." Though Zhang Weiguo was a bit puzzled, he still motioned for the two to take a break. "You guys keep stopping whenever you feel like it. We should be reaching the dock soon. I'll call you when we find it." With that, he led Zhu Zhongxiam and returned to the cockpit. Watching the Zhang women walk away, Qin Yang swung the axe in his hand and snorted coldly under his breath. Once we find that yacht, you two women can just wait to be fed to the fish. Zhuang Yao jumped to his feet instantly, his face filled with terror. Brother Qin, are we really going to kill someone? I'm scared of going to jail. Qin Yang slapped him across the face. You pig-brained fool. The whole world's flooded, what the hell are you worried about jail for? Meanwhile, in the rest area you clutched your dizzy head, your whole body aching. After checking the system panel, you discovered, as expected, that you had a moderate cold. In a post-apocalyptic world where supplies are scarce and medicine is in short supply, a severe cold can sometimes be more deadly than a natural disaster. However, just as you moved toward the door connecting to the cockpit to find some water, the conversation inside sent a chill down your spine. Zhang Xiamen said with a hint of suspicion, those two blonde-haired guys. I just have a feeling they're not good people. Are we really going to help them find a? Zhang Weiguo patted Zhang Xiamen on the shoulder. Don't worry, kid. Once we find the yacht, we'll borrow some fuel and head west to Shihuan Mountain. I heard people have set up a temporary outpost there. It's our only chance of survival. Standing outside the door, your pupils contracted. If you remembered correctly from your previous life, that was the only safe official base within a 500 li radius. Unfortunately, in your previous life, that idiot Chinzei had dragged down, insisting on searching the sea for that dilapidated yacht. We missed the optimal evacuation window, turning me into a sacrificial pawn in their escape. Just as these thoughts crossed my mind, Zhang Xiamen yanked the doorknob open. The next moment, I stumbled to the floor. I looked at the two of them awkwardly and managed to ask, do you have any water? Zhang Weiguo frowned, stepped forward to feel my forehead, and then jumped back in shock. You're actually this hot? Girl, go boil some hot water, Zhang Weiguo ordered Zhang Xiamen. She pulled open the drawer beside her, and pulled out a medicine box labeled $9.99. You have to understand, in this post-apocalyptic world where civilization has collapsed, a single pill is enough to make two grown men fight to the death, or even trade for a night's worth of clothing from a former goddess. She scraped one out and handed it to me. It was warm and thoughtful. This stuff is precious, and I don't have many left. Just take one and stop. I stared at the capsule in my palm with mixed feelings. Zhang Weiguo was a good man, but unfortunately, in the apocalypse, good people usually die the fastest. However, just as I finished the pill and thanked him, a sudden cry came from outside the door. Uncle Zhang, stop the boat. We've spotted the yacht. Zhang Weiguo handed the helm to his daughter, who had rushed over, then stepped out of the cockpit and leaned against the. They quickly approached the yacht, but he had no idea what was happening below, something that nearly cost him his life. Qin Yang exchanged a glance with Zhuang Yao, then followed Zhang Weiguo onto the yacht to investigate. They found the fuel gauge full, and the yacht's interior showed no issues. Just then, Zhang Weiguo sensed something was off. Little Chen, now that we found the fishing boat, is it okay to borrow some fuel like we agreed? Qin Yang brushed the dust off his hands, and grinned. No problem. If Uncle Zhang asks, how could I say no? He then turned back to the fishing boat to fetch tools. Zhang Weiguo, acting with practiced ease, bent down to adjust the hose. But the next second, a golden baton knocked him flat on his face, sending him crashing into the puddles on the deck. He twitched twice and lay still. Qin Yang tossed aside the baton and shook his numb hands. Shuang of nylon rope Zhao had prepared, and tied Zhang Weiguo's hands behind his back while he was semi-conscious. Suddenly, the door to the wheelhouse swung open. Zhang Xiamen saw her father lying on the deck at a glance. Without a second thought, she grabbed the fire extinguisher by the door and lunged forward. But Qin Yang reacted with lightning speed, grabbing Zhang Weiguo by the hair, and pressing a folding knife against his temple. His niece, Zhang Xiamen, held the axe there, his eyes red with rage. Are you animals? Without my dad, you'd be at the bottom of the sea feeding the fish. Qin Yang spat, his expression dismissive. I didn't ask you to save him. Stop trying to guilt-trip me. Drop the axe and get on your knees. Zhang Xiamen had no choice but to kneel in despair. The next second, Qin Yang seized the opportunity to tie him up as well, then stood aside, rubbing his hands together, with a lecherous grin. The yacht's this big. We're just missing a woman. Zhang Weiguo's eyes burned with fury as he struggled desperately, but Qin Yang kicked him hard in the chest. Tell me the combination to that supply safe. I might consider letting your daughter live. But Zhang Weiguo closed his eyes and remained silent. He knew that with his daughter in their hands, even if he didn't die now, his life would be a living hell. Seeing this, Qin Yang stood up. Go drag that sickly wretch out here, he said with a vicious glare. Moments later, I was dragged out, my face deathly pale. Qin Yang tossed the dagger to Zhuang Yao, ordering him, chop off his head, so Uncle Zhang can see what fate awaits his daughter. Zhuang Yao let out a shriek to steel his nerves, then raised the knife and charged at you. But the deck was too slippery, and his entire body clumsily crashed down on top of you. Seconds passed, didn't move at all. Qin Yang walked over cursing, kicked Zhuang Yao in the butt, but still got no reaction. However, just as Jin Yang flipped the body over, a cold gleam suddenly shot out from the fat corpse. It whizzed past Jin Yang's head. He jerked his head aside just in time. The next moment, he clutched his head and screamed, stumbling backward. In the puddle on the deck, a blood-soaked deer appeared. He staggered to his feet, propping himself up on his knees. Ignoring Jin Yang's wails, he raised the wood-chopping axe to bring it down on Jin Yang's neck. But suddenly, a massive side wave slammed violently against the hull. Already weakened, my legs gave way, and I fell flat on the deck. The axe flew from my hand, skidding to a stop at Jin Yang's feet. The situation reversed in an instant. Jin Yang froze for a second, his eyes bursting with wild joy. He scrambled forward, grabbing the hatchet with both hands, and roared ferociously, "You little bastard! Die!" Zhang Xiaoman immediately screamed a warning to Lu Fan to watch out. Yet just as the blade was about to fall, Jin Yang suddenly felt a lightness. In his arm, the hatchet vanished into thin air, dissolving into a puff of nothingness. Jin Yang froze in the midst of his swing, his eyes bulging from their sockets. Before his sluggish brain could process what had happened, my previously empty left hand shot backward. My fingers grasped at nothing. Yet the hatchet reappeared in my hand without warning. With a backhand flick, the blade pierced Jin Yang's entire abdomen. I pulled the knife out expressionlessly, forcing back a headache as I prepared to deliver the finishing blow. Jin Yang suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream, "If I can't live, then we'll die together." The next moment, he pulled a detonator from his chest, pressed it down hard. It was a crude explosive used for fishing. Earlier, while scouting the yacht, the trader had secretly attached it to the fuel tank. My pupils contracted, and my movements quickened. Just as I severed Jin Yang's throat, a searing blast of heat erupted from the bottom of the cabin with a deafening roar. The wheelhouse was blown sky-high, and I was hurled by the shockwave, tumbling twice, before crashing to the deck. The towering flames ignited the leaking diesel fuel, engulfing half the deck in a sea of fire. The hull began taking on water and began to list violently. Ignoring the pain, I fished a set of keys from Jin Yang's pocket, rushed toward the bow, and cut the ropes binding Zhang Weiguo's wife. "Go quick on the yacht." The Zhang family woman stumbled across the gangway and leaped onto the gray-white yacht. Zhang Xiaoman stood on the yacht's deck, reaching out to me in desperation. "Han, hurry up and get on board. The fishing boat is about to sink." But I stood in the glow of the flames, shook my head, and instead set my sights on that wooden raft. A bold idea took shape in my mind. I looked at Zhang Xiaoman and asked, "What time is it?" Zhang Xiaoman froze, asking the time at a moment like this? 11:55, hurry up. If we don't go now, it'll be too late, I muttered to myself, a flash of gold gleaming in my eyes. We have 5 minutes left. Then, I pulled the pack of cigarettes I'd dropped earlier from my pocket, tossed it with precision across the water, landing it right in Zhang Xiaoman's arms. "This pack should be enough for you to trade for plenty of supplies at the outpost. Consider it paying back the favor I owe your father. Head west toward the West Ring Mountain outpost. Don't look back." With that, I turned away. I didn't look back at him, but instead dragged my weary body toward the Mufa. Zhang Xiaoman watched my resolute retreat, then glanced at her father in her arms, his breath faint. She stumped her foot hard and darted into the yacht's cockpit, carrying the two women as they vanished into the pitch-black, rainy night. And I stood on the ship, on the verge of sinking, silently reciting to myself. Time entered the first second of the next day. Ding! Today's deconstruction count has been refreshed. I slammed my right hand down on the workbench beneath me, and clung desperately to the deck of the fishing boat, which was about to sink. The moment I initiated the deconstruction, an incredibly dazzling golden light erupted from the bottom of the workbench. The glow spread rapidly across the deck, and the massive vessel, which had been sinking, suddenly froze mid-air, not moving an inch. In this space where the laws of physics had ceased to apply, the hull instantly began to disintegrate. All matter transformed into countless hazy specks of light, surging madly into the core of the workbench. After about 10 minutes, the light faded. The fishing boat on the sea, weighing dozens of tons, had completely vanished. The bodies of Qin Yang and Zhuang Niu, having lost their anchor, drifted away with the waves like two garbage bags. Yet I sat alone on a small wooden raft, watching the pile of refined materials suspended above the workbench. Disassembly successful. Congratulations, host, on obtaining 20 pieces of living-grade pressure-treated wood, 10 pieces of living-grade construction-grade iron plates, 5 pieces of living-grade reinforced glass, 2 fine-grade copper core coils, 50 liters of fine-grade diesel fuel, and a barrel of special components, enough to repair one damaged fishing boat diesel engine. Looking at these items, I couldn't help but frown. Such a large ship yielded so little. However, the system's prompt clarified that the workbench's processing capacity was limited, and the materials had been lift the boat. A thought struck me, and I stuffed everything into my spatial ring. Since my spirit stat had reached 7, the corresponding storage capacity had expanded to 7 cubic meters. Just then, the workbench vibrated again. It detected that the materials met the requirements for the current vehicle upgrade. The core can be upgraded to level 1. Do you wish to upgrade the basic survival boat immediately? The headache from my fever blurred my vision, so I hurriedly selected upgrade. The next second, the materials from the spatial ring flew out of thin air and instantly fused with the wooden raft beneath my feet. The entire raft transformed into a rugged, aesthetically pleasing steel and wood vessel. Its half iron, half wood structure made it look like a miniature amphibious armored vehicle. I couldn't wait to climb into the cockpit. The isolated world suddenly fell silent. Though the cockpit was simple overall, it was dry and safe. Looking at this little corner of the world that belonged to me, I, having experienced multiple rebirths, felt a surge of warmth. In my previous life, I had toiled tirelessly on a fishing boat. Yet the Chu Xian family not only failed to show gratitude but took it for granted, subjecting me to endless criticism. I possessed the dignity to survive in this post-apocalyptic world. Wrapped in warmth, I curled up into a ball, as my consciousness gradually sank into darkness. Early the next morning, I pushed open the cockpit door, licked my parched lips, and heard my stomach growl. Looks like I'll have to cast a line now. Hopefully, this will solve the food and fresh water problems. At the same time, in a high-end residential complex in Fengjiang, Chu Xian angrily tossed his phone onto the sofa. Damn it, the battery's completely dead. Staring at the half-pack of crackers left on the table, he clutched his rumbling stomach. His eyes filled with resentment and jealousy. That bastard Lu Fan bastard, is he dead? How dare he not reply to my message? No sooner had the words left her mouth than second aunt and second uncle quietly pulled Chu Xian aside to a corner of the kitchen and whispered, Xianer, I think that Lu Fan kid really did drown. With the little food we have left at home, that big guy Chenze eats as much in one meal as the three of us combined. If we keep dragging this out, we'll all starve to death. Chu Xian spoke with a long face. But I have a plan. That old couple next door has an inflatable toy. They bought it for their grandson to play with in the water. Let's send Chenze to snatch it and get out of here. Uncle Chu was taken aback. He hadn't expected his wife to be so ruthless. After pondering for a moment, he nodded and walked into the bedroom. A few minutes later, after hearing Chu Xian's suggestion, Chenze walked into the living room and picked up a fruit knife lying nearby. Alright, fine. But that family next door, there's a son there who's nearly 40. He's a big guy. I'm afraid I won't be able to handle him on my own. Uncle, you've got to give me a hand. The two of them kicked the kitchen knife aside and made their way to the neighbor's door. They grabbed a crowbar and violently broke it open. The middle-aged man swung his knife and roared, What do you think you're doing? Get out. Chenze sneered, coldly, clutched the knife in his hand, and charged straight for the man's neck. He'd trained in Sonda for several years, and his strikes were swift. Before the middle-aged man could react, a deep gash had already been slashed across his neck. The elderly couple screamed and lunged at them, fighting desperately. The situation spiraled out of control in an instant. In the chaos, Uncle Er's thigh was stabbed by the old man as he lay dying. Chenze seized the opportunity and finished them both off in an instant. Uncle Er collapsed to the ground with a scream, trembling all over as he took in the horrific scene. Xiaozhe, help me up, he gasped. Chenze flicked the blood droplets from his knife, caught his breath, walked over. He then looked down at second uncle from above. Your wound's pretty deep, isn't it? Yeah, take me back to get it bandaged. Chenze crouched down, his voice eerily calm. If I take you, I'll have to share my food with you and look after you. This boat's only so big. You're this old and you're a cripple. Don't be a burden to us. Second uncle's eyes widened, but before he could beg for mercy, a chill instantly ran through his chest. Chenze, expressionless, twisted the hilt of the knife in his uncle's chest. Death is the end of it all. It'll save everyone the trouble. He hadn't expected that killing someone for the second time would still feel so satisfying. After a moment's pause, Chenze located the air valve and, while he was at it, ransacked the room of all its supplies. Finally, he tossed his uncle's body from the window into the floodwaters below. Having finished all this, Chenze returned inside. Seeing that his uncle hadn't returned, Chu Xian and his aunt hurriedly asked what had happened. Chenze, his eyes red-rimmed, said, Those bastards were too ruthless. My uncle was pushed out the window by them while trying to save me. His aunt's eyes rolled back. She wailed loudly. Chu Xian was so frightened she covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Chenze wrapped his arms around Chu Xian, burying her head in his shoulder. Shin. It's a miracle I'm still alive. I'm back. Just give me a couple of days to recover, and then we'll leave. I'll make sure you survive. Chu Xian was deeply moved, clinging to this man covered in blood. Meanwhile, at 1 p.m., I was sitting at the bow of the boat, enjoying the spoils I'd caught that morning. From those 5 casts, besides the bottled water and beef jerky needed for survival, I'd also landed a rubber hose, a bundle of lumber, and a bag of quartz sand. Though they were all low-grade, everyday items, in this post-apocalyptic world, these supplies were all useful resources. After some time had passed, I made the most of my time and cast my line again. As the float suddenly sank and a green light flashed. The item I reeled in made my heart skip a beat. My successful catch was a Type 64 pistol. Rare, of fine quality, and extremely reliable. But with a magazine capacity was only 7. In this post-apocalyptic world where order has collapsed. This is an absolute truth. I really hit the jackpot this time. I carefully stowed it in my spatial ring, my confidence soaring, and continued fishing. 2 hours later, on the 7th cast, I scored a household-grade windproof lighter. On the 8th cast, I reeled in a household-grade vacuum compressed down comforter. I couldn't help but sigh, where are the kids who cry every day? Where are the vicious dogs losing every day? I'm going to restore the glory of the fisherman. Sure enough, on the 9th cast, after pouring my entire being into it, the float lit up again with the long-awaited green glow. Ha ha ha, give me the loot. Fishing success. Obtained a fine-grade blueprint. Basic low-chlorine freshwater purifier. I slapped my thigh in excitement and immediately placed the blueprint on the workbench to examine it. A crude yet life-saving. Compared to distillation, it requires less energy and produces a more stable supply of fresh water. But due to the lack of electricity and a high-pressure pump, the process is so slow it'll drive you crazy. Staring at the workbench, you furrow your brow slightly. The secondary materials are manageable, but relying solely on fishing for the main materials is too much of a gamble. If I don't catch any freshwater fish during this time, I'm pretty much screwed. I look up and see, about 200 meters ahead, a 30-story office building. There must be fish tanks or home water purification systems inside. It shouldn't be too hard to salvage a 25-micron reverse osmosis filter cartridge from a household unit. Armed with a gun and a knife, I set out to search the building. But the moment I started the engine, the air froze. A string of bold red text was displayed on the workbench. Engine status, severely damaged. Requires a high-quality mechanical repair kit or equivalent parts for restoration. I slapped my forehead. Yesterday I was too caught up in the thrill of upgrading the hull and forgot this crappy engine was broken. Next, I pulled a wooden plank from my spatial ring and used my wood-chopping axe to cobble together some makeshift wooden armor. I began to revert to a caveman state, paddling toward that office building at a snail's pace. After half an hour of strength training, exhausted as a dog, I finally leaned against the glass exterior of the 18th floor. Looking through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I saw the office inside, half submerged in water. I wedged the bow of my boat against the window, gripped the wood-chopping axe tightly in one hand, and felt the Type 64 pistol in my other. Taking a deep breath, I climbed through the window. The water level was just above my knees, so I moved as quietly as possible. After a quick scan of the room, I realized in the darkness that it was completely empty. It had clearly been ransacked. Next, I checked several companies in a row, but the situation was exactly the same everywhere. It seemed the survivors in this building had already formed an organized group. I let out a cold snort and glanced up at the ceiling. Since they'd pulled their supplies, there was no need to search each place individually. I'd just go straight in and take what I needed. But just as I passed a small office, a strong, putrid, fishy stench hit me. I instinctively held my breath and crept along the wall toward the doorway. But the next scene, illuminated by the dim light, revealed a horrifying sight inside. Holy shit, how brutal. In that office area, which wasn't even that large, lay 4 or 5 female corpses in a state too gruesome to look at. Clearly, they had suffered inhuman torture before their deaths. It's only the 6th day of the apocalypse. The flood hasn't completely drowned our conscience yet. And the people in this building have already stopped treating each other like human beings? Just as I was about to retreat, heavy footsteps and voices suddenly heavy footsteps and voices. I quickly darted into the shadows nearby, to watch from the cover. A few seconds later, 2 men in filthy suits, their faces haggard, came down the stairs one in front of the other, carrying a fresh female corpse. They tossed the body into the office, already filled with corpses, as if it were trash. The man in glasses at the back wiped the "What a tragedy," he muttered numbly. All for half a loaf of bread. To be treated like this by General Peng and his men. It wasn't even in their mouths before they discarded it. The tall man in front shuddered in fear and hurriedly silenced him, then whispered Babuda over the corpse, before turning and rushing back upstairs. As I watched them disappear up the staircase, my gaze turned icy. It seemed General Peng was the local tyrant of this building. This also meant that the filter cartridge was most likely right here in General Peng's lair. After checking it and chambering around, I tiptoed up the stairs. In the chairman's office on the top floor of the office building, 3 well-groomed middle-aged men were currently sunk into leather sofas. General Peng spoke up. His beady eyes narrowed to slits. The satellite phone just went through. My old contacts over at Shihuan Mountain are still in place. In 5 days, they'll send a boat to pick us up and take us to the shelter. Mr. Su, with his Mediterranean-style haircut, and the slender Mr. Nyo, wore forced smiles on their faces, as they began to fawn in hoarse voices. It really is all thanks to General Manager Peng's extensive connections. That's the man for us. When the time comes, you'll have to give your brothers a hand. We're all counting on you. The general manager the flattery. He cast a glance at the plate, now as empty as a meat can. How much supplies and women do we have left? Mr. Su rubbed his hands together, his tone hesitant. There are still a dozen or so women locked up downstairs. At least 5 or 6 of them are quite attractive. Enough to keep you entertained for a while. It's just that the supplies might not be enough. Mr. Peng replied with a hint of amusement. The least valuable commodity in this apocalypse is human lives. Tonight, find an excuse to have Li Hua and his men stir up a riot. Don't let these people waste any more food. Meanwhile, in the open plan office area on the 29th floor, over 100 survivors were crammed together. Just then, Zhou Xiaoli, a slender woman standing just over 5 feet tall but weighing nearly 100 pounds, spoke up. Those women who went up these past few days are probably living it up. Sure, they're selling their bodies, but it's better than starving to death here, right? Xiaoyu looked vacant-eyed and uneasy. None of the sisters who went up have come back. Could something have happened? But Zhou Xiaoli rolled her eyes, her face full of disdain. Those chicks were just trying to hook up with rich guys. Now that they've gotten their wish, who'd want to come back to this pigsty? After saying this, she deliberately raised her voice to complain. But those stinking men really have terrible eyesight. They can't even spot a naturally beautiful woman like me. Just then, a commotion suddenly erupted at the entrance to the hall. A commotion erupted. Li Hua, the man with the buzz cut, walked in accompanied by several burly men. He was President Peng's right-hand man, and the overseer of the survivors on this floor. Su Xiaoli's eyes lit up instantly, and she charged forward like a meat and egg tank, causing the floor to tremble 3 times. She deliberately adopted a coy, high-pitched voice. Brother Li Hua, are you going to pick someone to go up and enjoy the good life again? Look at me, I've got fair skin. I'm a little plump and charming. I guarantee I'll satisfy Mr. Peng. The entire room fell instantly silent. Everyone stared wide-eyed at this almost square-shaped, plump woman. Li Hua's mouth twitched twice. He forced down his nausea, for no one knew that. He hadn't come down to hold a beauty pageant at all. He was here to dispose of a few troublesome troublemakers before the big purge that night. He took 2 steps back, gave his men a subtle signal. Take this fat pig with you. His men got the hint. Suppressing their own disgust, they forced a smile at the beauty. Come with us. President Heng is waiting upstairs. Zhou Xiaoli still thought she'd been chosen, and snorted haughtily. Just then, Li Hu noticed Xiaoyu standing nearby. That girl looks pretty good. Let's take her to President Peng to see too. But just as Xiaoyu stood up, Zhou Xiaoli suddenly in the stomach. Xiaoyu's head slammed against the floor, and she passed out on the spot. Zhou Xiaoli feigned concern, exclaiming, "Oh my, I'm so sorry. Sister Xiaoyu. I didn't mean to. My foot just slipped." But in her heart, she was calculating. She absolutely couldn't let anyone else snatch this opportunity to enjoy herself. Seeing Xiaoyu barely clinging to life, Li Hua could only whisper to his men, this woman's about to die. Find someone to toss her off the building. Let her die here too. With that, he hurriedly led Zhou Xiaoli out of the hall, and into the corridor. Though Zhou Xiaoli was dim-witted, she sensed something was wrong. The direction they were taking her wasn't toward the internal staircase to the 30th floor, but toward the emergency exit leading downstairs. She hurriedly asked, "Brother Li, did you take a wrong turn? Isn't this the way down?" But had barely left her lips when 2 burly men lunged at her from left and right, trying to pin her down. Zhou Xiaoli instantly snapped, letting out a blood-curdling scream. That body, weighing hundreds of pounds, suddenly unleashed astonishing strength, flinging the 2 men flying in an instant. The commotion was so loud it felt as if the entire building was shaking. Meanwhile, I, who was just about to sneak up the stairwell, froze in my tracks, staring intently up above, unable to resist muttering, "Damn. Do they keep pigs in this building? And they're fed so well." Meanwhile, the hallway had already descended into chaos. Li Hua, furious, shouted, "You useless fools, get on it. Don't let him alert the others." Immediately, 2 more burly men rushed in. The 4 men, like butchers wrestling a pig, struggled with all their might, before finally pinning Zhou Xiaoli to the ground, and sealing her mouth tightly with duct tape. Li Fire wiped the sweat from his brow and ordered viciously, "Drag him down and slaughter him. Leave no traces." The 4 henchmen carried the desperately struggling Zhou Xiaoli, cursing all the way, toward the stairs. But just halfway down, the 2 in the front suddenly stopped in their tracks. It seemed like there was someone inside. The 2 crept cautiously into the stairwell to investigate, but it was dead silent, not a sound to be heard. The remaining man, with a stubble-covered face, handed Zhou Xiaoli off to his companion and went in to investigate. But the moment he reached the corner, his body froze. Then, his legs moved backward in an eerie posture, and he stumbled out. The next instant, he collapsed right there. Before his hooded companion could react, a cold gleam suddenly shot out. A cleaver spun through the air and struck him down with precision. Zhou Xiaoli, bound to the floor, witnessed this terrifying scene. She wet herself in terror and wriggled frantically, trying to escape. Just then, I stepped out of the shadows. used the tip of my knife to peel back the tape over Zhou Shali's mouth, and said, "One more sound and I'll cut out your tongue. Answer my questions honestly, and I might spare your life." Terrified, Zhou Shali nodded frantically and confessed everything she knew. The survivors were all gathered on the 29th floor. General Peng and the supplies were on the 30th. To get to the 30th floor, you have to go through the central staircase on the 29th. There are probably over 30 armed men. I had a plan. Looking at the man in the hat below me, who was about my size, an idea struck me instantly. I quickly stripped him of his clothes, put them on myself, pulled the hat down low. Zhou Shali trembled as she begged me, "Big brother, please take me to a safe place." But I didn't even glance at him. "You're doing just fine on your own." Rejected, Zhou Shali instantly started, threatening to scream and draw others' attention. But the moment her voice broke, I slashed down without hesitation. Zhou Shali, who had been ready to fall asleep at a moment's notice, collapsed immediately. I then appeared at the 29th floor stairwell. Pulling my hat brim down low, I pushed open the door. The two guards on duty greeted me in unison. "Brother Han. Back so early? Where's the others?" I deliberately made my voice hoarse. The three of them suddenly said they were going to have some fun with that Sao before coming up. The guards froze for a moment. The thought of Zhou Shali's figure made their stomachs churn, and they waved their hands while retching. "Alright, Brother Han. You go up first. Brother Hua is urging us to assemble." I kept my head down and slipped inside. As soon as I stepped onto the 30th floor, I saw 2 rows of people standing in the lobby. About 20 of them, each holding a weapon. I stood at the back of the line, observing without giving anything away. I knew full well that storming in with just the bullets from our handguns was completely unrealistic. Just then, Li Hua walked over with his hands behind his back. He cleared his throat and shouted, "You're all elite troops handpicked by me and General Peng. Tonight's mission is simple. Wipe out all those good-for-nothing freeloaders and ugly scum. Once we pull off this job, word will spread in 5 days that we'll follow General Peng to West Ring Mountain to live it up in style." The crowd instantly let out excited growls, their eyes brimming with greed. But who would have expected that Li Hua would walk straight toward me at the back of the line? My whole body tensed up instantly, thinking I was about to be exposed. My hands immediately assumed a feeble posture, ready to draw my gun at any moment. But the next second, Li Hua gave my shoulder a heavy pat. "Little Han, you're the one I value most. Tonight's mission, you're in charge." I was completely dumbfounded. Inside, I was screaming, "No way, man. I just came here to get some supplies. You're taking this way too seriously." But at that moment, I had no choice but to grit my teeth, suppress my anger, and nod. Li Hua thought I was trembling. He leaned in and threatened, "Don't try any tricks on me. I'm the boss. You do exactly what I tell you." After saying that, he resumed his fake smile and ordered everyone to disperse and rest. As soon as night fell, set off. I'd planned to slip away. But Li Hua called out to me, "Come on, Xiaohe. President Peng wants to see us. Remember, keep your mouth shut and nod a lot." Though I felt utterly helpless inside, I had no choice but to grit my teeth and follow Li Hua into President Peng's office. By the massive floor-to-ceiling windows, President Peng sat with his back to us in a leather executive chair, a cigar clamped between his fingers as he stared absently out at the sea. He gestured for us to sit down, then casually tossed out 2 pieces of Dove chocolate. "Have a taste. Back in the day, not even a dog would touch this stuff, but now it's more expensive than gold bars." Li Hua tore open the wrapper without hesitation, stuffed it into his mouth, asked through a mouthful, "What are your orders, General Peng?" General Peng slowly turned around and said in a deep voice, "We've received a call from the West Ring Mountains. Highly aggressive mutant fish have appeared in the sea. The large ships have been replaced with speedboats, and boarding slots are limited." Was instantly startled. The mutant fish were supposed to appear in 6 days. Why had they come early? Could the rebirth have triggered a butterfly effect? Just then, General Peng held up 3 fingers and said there were only 3 tickets. He pretended to reassure Li Hua and me. "You two are my most capable lieutenants. You'll definitely get spots." Li Hua's eyes lit up with fervor, and he hurriedly thanked him. I followed suit, tipping my hat in gratitude. But General Peng's tone suddenly shifted, "And there are too many people here. It'll be chaos if word gets out. Those 2 groups led by General Su and General Niu are nothing but dead weight. When we make our move tonight, I don't want to see them breathing tomorrow." Li Hua immediately stood up and made a throat-slitting gesture. "Don't worry, General Peng. As soon as the riot breaks out tonight, I'll take little Han and take care of him." General Peng then told me to step out and rest first. He wanted to discuss private matters with Li Hua. I was only too happy to hurried out. But just as I closed the door, I heard President Peng say to Li Hua in a hushed voice, "Actually, there are only 2 tickets. Little Han may be loyal, but he's too stubborn. Taking him along is no better than carrying 2 boxes of canned goods. Once we've dealt with President Su and his crew, we'll just dispose of little Han while we're at it." Li Hua froze for a second, then broke into a cruel grin. "President Peng, we're on the same page. I've had my eye on him for a while now. After Li Hua left, General Manager Peng gazed at the setting sun outside the window, a mocking smile curving his lips. Li Hua, you really are a good dog. But unfortunately, there's only ever been one ticket. As night fell, the office building lost power. Only a few oil drums were burning table legs and planks, their flickering flames barely illuminating the lobby. By the light of the fire, I made my way to the supply storage area. It was the former finance office, and 6 burly men stood at the entrance, keeping a close watch on one another. Through the crack in the door, I could vaguely make out the supplies inside. In the corner, several dismantled commercial water purifiers were prominently displayed. A surge of joy washed over me. Hard work pays off. I'd finally found them. But just as I was figuring out how to make my move, a large hand suddenly slammed down on my shoulder. Li Hua's voice rang out, "Xiao Han, what are you looking at? Time's up. Come with me, let's get down to business first." Glancing at the guards and Li Hua, I knew a direct assault would be unwise. Better to play along and strike when the chaos erupts. So I nodded silently and followed Li Hua to where General Manager Su and Ye were. The two stood before the door of a luxury suite. Even with the best soundproofing, I could hear the screams of pleasure from a man and a woman inside. Li Hua sneered and gave a look. The next moment, he kicked the door open with a violent kick. Mr. Su, who had been playing hide-and-seek, jumped in fright, and immediately began cursing. "Li Hua, do you want to die? How dare you barge into my room?" Li Hua slammed the door shut behind him. 2 machetes glinted in the candlelight. "I've interrupted your little fun. President Peng asked me to deliver a message. He needs you two to cooperate and die." Mr. Nye roared, reaching for the steel pipe by the bed. But Li Hua didn't give him a chance. He darted forward in a flash, his 2 knives forming a tight barrier, sending both men straight to the afterlife. The women screamed and scattered in all directions, but I blocked them at the door. One woman knelt at my feet, pleading, "Big brother, please spare me. I just wanted a different kind of food. I'll do anything." My expression was complicated. I knew how difficult it is for ordinary people to survive world. I immediately prepared to open the door and let them out. After all, the more chaotic the scene, the easier it would be for me to act. But just as I turned the doorknob, Li Hua, blinded by rage, charged forward. In a matter of seconds, he took care of the women. The screams inside the room ceased abruptly. Li Hua walked toward me step by step, his voice dark and menacing. "Xiao Han, General Su, and the others are already on their way. Now it's your turn." But as I watched Li, a faint smile suddenly curled at the corners of my mouth. The next second, I pulled off my hat, revealing an unfamiliar face. "Young man," I said, "it's not very nice to be so ruthless." Li Hua's pupils contracted. Instantly. "Who are you? Where's Xiao Han?" But the next second, the black muzzle of a gun was instantly aimed at his forehead. "Drop the knife, put your hands up." I held the gun with one hand, keeping my tone calm. Li Hua took a deep breath and let go. The machete clattered to the ground as he stared at me, calculating in his mind that within 7 steps, he could snap my neck. Yet while his mouth feigned surrender, his feet suddenly surged forward as he lunged at me. But I didn't pull the trigger. Instead, I swung my arm wide, intending to smash him with the pistol. Li Hua's heart leapt with joy, convinced the gun was empty. But just as my arm swung out, the pistol vanished, replaced by a disassembled wood-chopping axe. At such close range, the axe struck Li Hua with precision, slamming him into the wall. Li Hua stared wide-eyed at the axe embedded in his chest, then at the pistol that had reappeared in my hand. His worldview collapsed in an instant. How had the pistol turned into an axe? I walked over and pulled out the axe. "That's what you call outsmarting a young upstart," I said. "Your men are all outside firing shots. Too much noise would tip him off." Li Hua opened his mouth, his eyes white as life completely drained away. I sheathed the hatchet, straightened my clothes, and pushed open the door. More than 20 men had already assembled in the hall. Just then, someone asked Captain Han. In confusion, "Where's Brother Hua?" I cleared my throat calmly. "He's constipated. He told us to go ahead without him." The crowd stirred instantly, but no one dared to act on their own. I suddenly raised my voice and roared, "Listen up. Don't you lot have any brains? General Peng's orders are simple. See someone, chop them down. Do I need to teach you how to hold a knife? Anyone who misses the chance to go to West Ring Mountain, I'll cripple them first." That shout completely silenced everyone. A man named Laozi immediately stepped forward to take charge, leading the group to split into 3 teams and charge toward the stairwell. Even the 6 guards guarding the supplies followed them down. In less than a minute, the 30th floor was completely empty. I let out a cold laugh, turned, and headed straight for the supply room. But I didn't bother to look much inside. I went straight for the water purifier in the corner, slashed open the casing with a single stroke, and successfully retrieved 5 high-quality filter cartridges. My heart raced with joy. I'd struck gold. With these, I could build a water purifier and ensure a steady supply for the future. But just as I was engrossed looting supplies, a chill ran down my spine. It felt like being caught in the act. The next moment, a cold dagger pressed silently against my lower back. General Peng's icy voice rang in my ear. I knew something was off with you. Where's Li Hua? I bet you killed him. My heart sank. I never would have imagined General Peng could sneak up on me so silently. Just as I was escape? Just then, the dagger in Peng's hand advanced another half-inch, piercing through my clothes. He reached out to search my body, but found no weapon. Only the filter cartridge. He burst out laughing. So that's what you stole? You could easily take out Li Hua and still make a name for yourself. You've got some skills, young man. You're a talent. After tossing the filter cartridge back to me, he took a step back, adopting a condescending air. I won't kill you, and give you a chance. I'll give you a ticket to West Ring Mountain. Become my right-hand man and help me build a post-apocalyptic business empire at the stronghold. How about it? I looked at his condescending smirk and curled my lips in disdain. No interest in that. You think a lousy boat ticket will make me your lackey? This guy's gone completely mad playing local warlord. General Peng's smile froze instantly. If you won't take the wine, you'll have to drink the punishment. I haven't fought in over a decade. I wonder if my skills have rusted. No. Sooner had the words left my mouth than General Peng's fist struck me in the chest. I groaned and slammed into the wall. My limbs went numb. I didn't even have the strength to raise my hand and draw my gun. General Peng slowly raised his dagger, offering me one last chance. He said he'd reveal a secret I'd definitely be interested in. That the authorities chose West Ring Mountain as the stronghold. Not because of its. I quickly agreed. After all, saving my life was the priority. But just as General Peng was about to reveal the secret, a thunderclap suddenly roared, drowning out his voice. Outside the window, torrential rain poured down like pillars. General Peng froze in place, staring out the window in terror. Impossible. How could that thing? I followed his gaze and, by the light of the lightning, saw a massive black shadow on the pitch-black sea cutting through the waves and racing toward the office building. It wasn't a ship, but a living creature. Immediately afterward, a deep, rumbling roar echoed from the depths of the ocean. The entire 30-story office building shook violently. The floor instantly cracked, and the floor slabs, laden with supplies, collapsed completely. General Peng and I plummeted down with the falling debris. In the lobby on the 29th floor, survivors wailed incessantly. The ceiling suddenly, and the supplies, along with 2 living people, crashed heavily to the ground. As the dust settled, General Manager Peng, covered in dirt and dust, quickly stood up. He spat out a mouthful of blood-tinged saliva, pointed at me. You're lucky to be alive. Now, take care of them, consider it your first claim to fame. I gave a cold laugh and slowly crawled to my feet, my fingers gradually regaining sensation. As I watched General Manager Peng charging toward me, I suddenly spoke up. Have you ever heard the saying? Within 7 steps. What is the fastest? General Peng clenched his pistol, the muscles on his face twitching. The next second, he planted his feet and charged at me like a cannonball leaving the barrel. Such a collision would shatter the bones of an ordinary man. But I didn't dodge. I simply flipped my right hand, and a Type 64 pistol materialized in my palm. I raised it to aim. The motion is smooth as flowing water. Beyond 7 paces, the gun is fast. Within 7 paces, it is both accurate and fast. General Peng's pupils contracted sharply. You're playing dirty, he nearly shouted. But the only thing that accompanied his outburst was a crisp gunshot, echoing through the hall. Until his dying breath, he never figured out where I'd hidden the pistol. Witnessing this, the entire hall fell instantly silent. Those bloodthirsty men, staring at the gun in my hand, turned deathly pale and scattered in all directions. I had no time to deal with them. The massive and the shadowy figure were absolutely beyond my ability to handle. This was no place to linger. But just as I was preparing to slip away amid the chaos, 8 desperados wielding machetes exchanged a glance and instantly closed in. Fortune favors the bold. If I could seize that gun, the entire building's supplies and women would be ours. Watching the approaching desperados, I clicked my tongue impatiently. If they wanted to fight, then let them all stay here. At the same time, I calculated in my head, with only 6 bullets left, facing 8 scattered opponents, I couldn't possibly take them down one by one. Besides, bullets were precious. I couldn't waste them on these cannon fodder. Taking a deep breath, I suddenly burst to one side. A gunshot rang out, and the slowest reacting thug on my flank dropped dead on the spot. Before the others could react, the pistol in my hand vanished into thin air, replaced by a wood-chopping axe. I then shifted my stance, slipping between 2 of them like a ghost. A precise swing of the blade, 3 men were down in just 2 seconds. The remaining 5 froze instantly, their legs turning to jelly from the sheer terror of my efficiency. None dared to advance. But just then, a more violent crash came from the doctor's side. The entire office building tilted violently, the angle instantly exceeding 30 degrees. The survivors in the lobby lost their balance and slid down to the floor toward the floor-to-ceiling windows. The glass shattered, and dozens of figures plunged into the pitch-black sea. Without even a splash, I slid downward uncontrollably, relying on my lightning-fast reflexes. I thrust the wood-chopping axe into the floor with a backhand, but just as I steadied myself, a desperate man grabbed my calf, clinging to it like a lifeline and begging for mercy. I felt a sudden weight on my lower body. The axe let out a groan under the squeak under the strain. I'd already taken a punch from Pengzong, so, without a moment's hesitation, I kicked him squarely in the face. Watching him plunge into the sea, I felt no pity. Any moment of weakness in this situation would only lead to my own death. Meanwhile, the office building's tilt was worsening. It was nearly becoming a vertical wall. The handle of the axe was gradually warping. I knew I couldn't hold out any longer. I looked up toward the central pillar at the corridor entrance. With a thought, the divine-grade fishing rod appeared. I gripped the rod tightly in my left hand and swung it violently with my right. The fishing line precisely looped around the pillar, forming a secure knot. I then wrapped the line around my body, pulled out the wood-chopping axe, and used it like a climbing pick to inch my way upward. Finally, I climbed above the pillar and leaped into the corridor. But before I could even celebrate, the upper completely snapped. It felt as if the entire world had turned upside down. The force of the impact hurled me violently against the ceiling, then slammed me back down to the floor. Immediately afterward, the immense water pressure shattered the lobby's glass, and icy seawater instantly flooded the entire space. I was instantly swept away by the water, crashing into the corner of the corridor. Everything went black, and I nearly lost consciousness. In that daze, I felt as if I had returned to my previous life. That moment despair. I was pushed off the boat and torn apart by sharks. I didn't come back to this life to become a water ghost. A fierce will to survive sustained me. Holding my breath, I navigated through the murky water, swimming desperately toward the floor-to-ceiling windows at the end of the corridor. There were still more than 20 meters to go. With my current lung capacity, I could make it if I gave it my all. Just as I kicked my legs hard to accelerate my ascent, a chilling ripple of water surged from beneath my feet. By the light of a flash of lightning, I saw a massive, despair-inducing shadow in the abyss, shooting upward like an arrow from a bow. A gaping maw filled with sharp fangs was aimed straight at me. I was completely shattered. All I wanted was a sip of clean water. Why must both humans and monsters try to kill me? But I gritted my teeth and gripped me divine-grade fishing rod. Even if it meant fighting to the death, I would make the sea monster pay the price. With my last ounce of strength, I swung the rod. The hook sank precisely into the monster's flesh. A system notification appeared. Host's current stamina is nearly depleted. Upon successful catch, you will fall into a complete coma. I smiled and released the rod. My brain gradually lost sensation. I didn't know if I would survive, nor what miracle. I don't know how much time passed, but I awoke in a soft white light. The suffocating sensation had vanished.